All right, with Kacy Boccumini, I'm sure it's nothing. Played at the Under 5 Minute Film Festival. Horror film, creepy film, thriller. The language is Haitian, though, right? Is it
Uh,
Haitian?
it's actually it's French Creole because Chrissy Chrysanthemum is from Haiti, but it's French. It's
Oh,
Creole.
okay. It's like their version of French language, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And so, why did you? Is that why you did the film? Because you're both from Los Angeles. So I'm assuming you would be an English
So,
speaking film, but you guys changed it, right?
so one of the things there, like the reason why I chose that is because it is a horror film in the sense that yes, it is creepy, but there are many layers of what people consider to be horrific or strange.
Mhm.
And one of the elements that I wanted to add to this was when you can't understand the language of something, that increases a level of uncertainty, right? And so when people people in their head speak in whatever language is native to them,
Yeah,
right? Like people who are Spanish speakers often talk about how they dream in Spanish still.
sure. Yeah.
So if this is an entirely internal monologue, then Chrysanthemum would not be speaking English. And so I
I
wanted
like
to
it.
honor that layer.
No, it's a great answer to the question because you're right. It does add a more mystery for even for the English viewer, I guess, right?
Yeah, because you hear I play a lot with noise and sound and also like, between going from black and white to color and also speaking French and like foreign language film and foreign language horror
Yeah,
specifically, like there and if you go into like the whole colonization of everything and like
sure.
why I am dressed the way I'm dressed and the Hitchcock of it all. And there's so many layers to the things that I wanted to play with. But definitely like when people see subtitles, we have such a fear of hearing things that we don't understand despite being a country with no official language. So I mean that definitely
Well,
influenced the decision.
according to some people, you do have an official language, right? So that's a whole other discussion.
I mean, we do not. We don't have an official language, nor are we a specific religious sect. In fact, we were founded specifically because,
Yeah, yeah. That people should people. I bet you half the country doesn't know that, right? So
yeah. Well, yes, I think that's intended, but sure, yeah, totally.
yeah, because in Canada we have two official languages, French and English. So yeah,
But even your French is Quebec, right? It's Quebecois, so it's a
yeah.
very specific version of French. I know.
But it's still in this. You can basically, if you go to France, you could speak French, right? So yeah,
For sure. But I mean, you have beautiful laws that protect the percentage of times that you have to see French based
yeah,
on where you are, right? And also how that's dubbed or where. I worked at Sony Pictures for like
yeah,
17 years,
yeah.
and a lot of it was in localization. So I know that that is a like a national agreed upon protection where
And there's strong debate about that as well, right? So
sure.
especially in the province of Quebec. All right,
Yeah.
let's get to your film. So your lead actor, Chrysanthemum, great name. So she was always intended to play the lead, I'm assuming.
So chrysanthemums pronouns are they them,
Okay,
and
I apologize. Go ahead. Yeah,
it's nowhere listed, so I understand. But in the film, we had this conversation about Chrissy being willing to present as a black woman because that is one of the driving themes behind I'm sure it's nothing. Because the whole point of the film is like how we have trained women, black women, people of color to gaslight themselves out of thinking that they should be afraid of something when in
yeah.
actuality, yes, we've created an entire world of just fear. That is the point of I'm sure it's nothing. So Dawn, who is the DP, enlisted as the co-director for cost reasons, um, came to me, and we've worked on a few different films before. And Don was like, I really want to shoot something with Chrysanthemum. And I was like, great. And I had written an 100-word poem, and I was like, I think it was for a contest. It was like you had to write a story in 100 words.
Mhm.
And so the story that I wrote was 10 lines, 9 lines, 8 lines, 7 lines, 6 lines, so like all the way down to one, and then
Yeah.
I built it back up to nine, so that it led to 100. And I was like, this is a really interesting story because it talks about how someone literally goes through the journey of thinking it's nothing, and then when they realize it's something, that they're trapped. So I was able to quickly convert that into a screenplay. And if you look at the subtitles, I tried to stay very true to um, that formula of like you start in one place, and you basically build down to being a realization, and then from that realization you build back up to the very beginning of like what you did at the beginning to protect yourself is the way in which you have sealed your doom.
Okay. Like
With
it.
right, the doors locking, like everything is
Yeah.
a cycle.
Yeah. So no, I like how you're just explaining this because there is obviously depth to your film and there's a lot of time taken into it. So it's almost like you gotta it's a cliche statement, but it's almost like you gotta watch the film a few times.
Well,
Right?
it's super short, so
No, but it's good. No,
yeah,
but it's like it's two and a half. Honestly, 2.5 minutes is a long time, right, on screen,
it can
right?
be. It can
Yeah,
be very,
exactly,
yeah,
right.
it can be. Yeah.
So yeah, it's all like set up like so tell me about so you said that Don is your co-director or DP. So how was your relationship with them? Because did you like the way you're describing everything in detail from a story arc perspective? Did you like direct it like that? Did you storyboard everything? Did you kind of like prepare
So
every shot?
like one of the things we did, like this was done for $0, like really honestly, like $0. This was just something that we wanted to do because Don wanted to work with Christy. I wanted to add something horror to my reel. And so everything that you see there is shot in my apartment, which is
Mhm.
super easy. The minute you take sound out of it, the cost drops substantially.
Yeah.
And how it came about was telling a specific story, but like I really wanted to. Um, the main thing that Don and I talked about were the elements of horror that we loved, and figuring out a way to organically put them into the movie, and then build around it. So obviously, as the writer, director, and editor, that gives me a lot of room. I also did all the sound design,
Yeah.
so it gave me a way to curate the world. But like one of the things that he and I talked about the most was like we love Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. So like the practical, like using the like basically using the free resources that horror is so well known for to our
Yeah.
advantages. So we talked about like the whip pans and the hard things. I came up with on the day the shot where I walk out of the camera using my body as like the blackout spot.
Mhm.
A lot of it was trial and error, but we shot all of it in 4 hours in my apartment.
That's great.
Yeah.
Uh, Lots of use of feet for both characters, right?
Yes. I feet, like bare feet are so, it's such a vulnerable thing, right? Like your feet being vulnerable. And also there's a pet cemetery aspect to that scene in Pet Cemetery lives rent free in my mind, is like one of the scariest things ever. Do you know
Yeah.
what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I know
Yeah, yeah,
exactly what
yeah.
you're talking about.
It's just awful.
Yeah.
Also, the feet shot, my feet walking down the hallway was always part of the plan,
Yeah.
but we set the camera down for a second to look at a different shot, and Chrysanthemum got into bed, and we saw their feet.
Yeah,
go up and then in, and I
I
was like,
liked it. The
I was like,
tension, right? The tension of the feet.
Hey Don, roll on that. Like, can you roll it? Chrissy, can you come back out of bed? Don, roll on that. So we came up with the entire sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a very happy accident.
You should show this film to Tarantino. He would love it.
Yeah, that's I would need Chrysanthemum's approval because that's a whole different ball
Oh,
game. Yeah,
okay. Okay. I was just making a joke, but basically, but no, but I liked it though, because it was because the tension on her feet, of their feet, right? Like I like how, like, you're right, that's true. And it's basically that's something that I just think I thought it was a great touch because it's something that's an extra element of the fear, right? Of the anxiety, right? That we don't see in film that often.
right. Because like you can't. It's when you're in bed,
Yeah.
very vulnerable. You can't run outside. Your feet are very
Yeah.
naked.
In
It,
general, yeah, when you're going to bed, you don't have socks on, right? You basically have bare feet, right?
right.
And if you have to run or you have to get up, you're wearing bare feet. Like, so, yeah, it's something that I'm just thinking. I'm thinking about. I thought it was great. So basically, but you're also paralleling it with the other character, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, the
One.
character that may or may not exist, I guess, right?
So this is always the question that I ask people. I was like, do I exist or do I not exist?
Yeah, you don't exist, but
Is something there or is nothing?
well, I think there's something there, but it's not a human being. I think that listen, it's I think it's I think that you're right. I think that there is a female, definitely a female perspective of like we still live in a man's world, right? And we have they have different fears and anxieties that we do because they go in the world and there's creepy men and like you never know what's going to happen, right? So if you're supposed to be comfortable at home, you're supposed to be comfortable in your bed going to sleep, and if you're hearing sounds,
Right.
that anxiety will go into different levels, right? That's how I took it. And
Yeah.
basically, because that they live in a different world than we do, right? So, and so I feel my perspective was that because it's in black and whites, it's not a real person.
Yeah. And the zoom shot where I become real and step into that three-dimensional world of color
Yeah,
is one of those moments of like I play fear itself, right?
yeah,
Just the acknowledgement of fear itself. So does fear really carry a knife? If you look at it from a tarot perspective, yes, a knife is a thought and a thought is fear, and you could go nine ways to Sunday on this
yeah,
metaphor. But the point of it really is we we as human beings have designed a world where we have erased or advanced our abilities to remove every single natural predator we have. And what we do with that gift is kill each other.
yeah,
And I just, that thought is the thing that sort of drove the impetus for writing this of like, we kill each other through food, we kill each other with bombs, we kill each other with
yeah,
words, we kill ourselves with fear and anxiety, and all the protective measurements we put into place to keep us safe from other people. If that is breached in any way because we've isolated ourselves, the
yeah.
isolation is our undoing. And
Okay.
so that,
And humans have always done this, right? It's not just a modern thing. It's something that they've always done. No matter what culture or
yeah.
what background, where they live and how hot it is or how cold it is, whatever it is, right? They've always done it.
Yes, I don't. I mean, I don't know enough about indigenous cultures in
They
terms of
fought. They
like
fought against each other.
they fought against each other, but I don't know that many of them were like isolationists the way that we've modernized
Sure,
isolationism,
that's more of a
right?
European thing, I guess, right?
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but still, they battle these. Every culture has
Yeah.
battled each other in
Every
different ways,
culture
right?
battles each other for something, for
Maybe
something.
there's a European DNA where they want to conquer. They want to like adventurize or whatever, move like see what else is out there, I guess, right? So and then
Yeah.
with that, there's evil intentions, right? When they get there.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the hardest things I've had to reconcile is like if you looked at Halloween from the perspective of Michael Myers, you have someone who's very sick, who's not getting the help they need, and they're just acting out of what
Yeah.
they think is correct. Like,
Yeah.
is that like how do you look at the world through the perspective of like someone who is like untreated and mentally ill? It's just like, does he have mad intentions? Yes. Is that something he can control? No. But we don't have the societal structures to support that. So
Yeah.
like there's an opportunity to reboot the Halloween series from a different perspective that's about like mental health care.
No, but
This is
it's the lens that you it's always the lens that you shoot the film from, right?
Yes, and
Yeah.
that's the thing I love so much about horror films is like, one of the aspects of this film that I loved the most is that we created this thing called the final girl, and the final girl, like there's a myth of final girls are a myth because that's not usually how matriarchal societies deal with issues or threats. Like violence is not the thing. Like equal or greater violence is not a matriarchal response to an attack.
Yeah.
That is so when you think of the final girl, when people talk about like, you know, looking at final girls and it's like, oh, it's subverting the patriarchy. It's like, it is absolutely not subverting the patriarchy. Final girls can do it too. Women can be just as violent as men, just as bloodthirsty as men, and that by and large is historically untrue.
It's very untrue.
Yeah.
There's that Sacha Baron Cohen film on Netflix where like he like hits his head and like it's a gimmick film where like hits his head and like he's living in a woman's world now, right?
Hmm.
And the problem with the film is that the woman's world is exactly the same as the men, but the women are in charge. But it's
Right.
like, would women be just like men? That's the problem with the gimmick of the film, right? Is
There's
it
a
doesn't work.
very
Yeah.
there's a very old movie from the 90s starring Jimmy Schmitz and
Oh,
Elaine
like Switch.
Switch. That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Where the full experience of womanhood is the thing that breaks the spell. That's it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the thing that men really miss, or I will say that patriarchal society wants to continue to perpetuate because it's not men, right? There's plenty of people who do not identify as men who perpetuate this, and there are plenty of men that don't subscribe to this.
Sure.
But yeah, I know it's a 2 minute and 30-second film, but I try very hard to like put a lot into it.
It's awesome. Okay, let's talk about your sound design because you mentioned before that you did it. And the sound design is the key to your film,
Yeah,
right? It really is.
yeah.
So have you done sound design before? Like, what's your experience doing it?
So because I am like late stage Gen X, MTV was very influential in my life. Um, and if you take the like MTV generation mixed with like a film theory academic background, the most important thing about horror, everything about right, is like the framing, the angles, the movements, and like how it sounds. Because if you put different music over Silence of the Lambs,
Yeah.
you can change the whole meaning. The recut of the trailer of Shining, like the happy-go-lucky story of The Shining, different.
Yeah.
So horror is all about sound. The point, I've never done a score before. I've never done sound design like that before. I did a tiny little bit on Musings, which is two shorts I did. Like it was the two shorts, the second short before this one, I did Musings and then Give Me Some More and then this one. So Musings has a little bit of like whimsical sound design, and from that, like just seeing how one small noise was really funny or made
Yeah.
it really stupid or just didn't work. And so luckily I have a neighbor upstairs who is a music producer, and his wife, Carla, is an incredible musician. She plays everything. She did all the string work, and then the rest of it was sort of layered in with royalty-free sounds that I found on Pixabay.
Okay. Well, you
Yeah,
did a great job. It's like it's very professional.
thank
Yeah.
you. I worked. That's the thing that took the longest.
I'm assuming it did, right?
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah.
And why did you decide to do it yourself? Just for cost reasons or?
Cost reasons, and also I'm really like particular. I really care about every
Yeah.
little tiny thing. And until I have the amount of money needed to pay people to care about something as much as I do, it feels irresponsible to ask someone to be like, "Hey, do this, but like change this." Um,
Okay.
so yeah.
It's an interesting perspective, but I could also argue that people won't need it for their resume, and they're just out of school or whatever. They it gets them jobs if you do this that type of film like this, right?
That's true. That's very
Yeah.
true. And I think that if I like, I have done that. I've worked with other people on, because I've made 8, 9 short films
Yeah.
in the last 4 years. And I've worked with lots of different people, but for this one specifically, so much of this film is built in the way it sounds. So much of the tension, so much because there's no real dialogue, it's all voiceover. I wanted to time the voiceover correctly and do the edit and all that stuff. So I was just like, let me take this one on.
Well, you did, like I said, it was a great job. It's like I thought somebody else. I was looking in the credits actually too. I was like, who did the sound design? Because it was like really, I liked like obviously it makes your film. It makes your like even her voiceover is great. Did you like? Sorry, I apologize. Their voiceover is great. Did you like? I'm assuming you directed them like very much so.
Yeah.
Like it's yeah, it's really effective the way their voice is.
So we did a couple takes and passes, and then what was tricky is like I don't speak French, right?
Yeah,
Like I, Chrysanthemum translated all of the lines that I wanted them to speak. And as they were doing it, we would just do it in like chunks. And then like, I basically had to like do it in order because if I didn't do it in order or if we did any sort of like second takes,
yeah,
I wouldn't know what was being said and I wouldn't know where to place it. So
yeah,
it was like, okay, like I would just make it, like I'd have the written word and I would sound it out and be like, I think that's it. And then because of the timing on screen, I couldn't look at it. Like we all did this in like an apartment. So like I couldn't
yeah.
look at it at the same time. So I was working off of different clips. I did have numerous nights sitting in this chair being like, did I have to do it in French? Could I
I was
really?
gonna think like you made things difficult for yourself, I guess, right?
I often do. I often do, but I'm so happy with the result because the I love the desperation and the sound of the voice when you hear like you hear it and then you see I'm sure it's nothing and you're just like, "Oh, yeah, that's it.
Well,
Good."
great job. So, what are you doing? What are you working on now? Like, I have a feeling you want to do a feature film pretty
I
soon.
do. I do want to do a feature film. I actually have a couple written. Um, I really love working in genre. Like that's my favorite thing to like pick a
Yeah.
genre and then be super dedicated to that genre. So I have 2 feature screenplays that are done now. I have well 3. So 79 was a short script. I've made that
Okay.
feature script. 79 is a Saturday Night Fever, reboot, and it's a dance movie. The tagline is it's the dance movie to end all white dance movies, and it's
Yeah.
about a reimagination of dance where I take tropes from all the incredible dance movies that we know and love and set up a recreation of the dance off at the end of Saturday Night Fever with
Okay.
actual dancers who are not cis, straight, and white.
Okay.
Because our lived experience is that that is oftentimes not the best dancer on the dance floor.
Well, actually a plot in Saturday Night Fever about that, right? So,
Yes, but
yeah.
it's weird because like the trophy is like Tony does the right thing and like hands the trophy to the other person. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
okay.
That said, it's a pretty dark film. If you like, I'm sure you've seen it more times than once, right? It's not like a
Saturday
light
Night
film.
Fever is an exceptionally dark film
Yeah.
and it's traumatizing in on many ways. My Staying Alive, the sequel, directed by Sylvester Stallone,
Alone.
is like
Yeah,
one of my all-time favorite movies.
yeah,
And looking at those two films, I'm like, how did this go to this? What?
yeah. I haven't seen. I see Saint Alive a long time ago. It's got that. It's got a mix. Got mixed reactions, right? Like it's got a mixed
Oh
opinion of
yeah.
it.
I think that most people do not consider that a good movie, but like
Yeah.
I like Tony Manero. I wanted to be a dancer my whole life,
Oh,
and
really? Okay.
oh yeah, I love dancing. It's like my favorite thing to do ever. I like when I was a little kid, I think being like an exotic male dancer was like I thought it was like a big deal. And so I strove to be that. And it's not a
Well, I see that with dance because my daughter dances, and it's like there's like zero, almost zero men.
yeah, no.
These dance like why and it's almost like it's like there's a societal. I don't want to get too deep on it, but there's like this kind of like I'm sure you experience it too, where like that you like as a man, as a boy, you shouldn't be doing that in a sense, right? Like
It's men, it's so strange that we're having this conversation because the ways in which men are allowed and not allowed to use their bodies is
yeah,
so odd. Especially like in the American perspective, like
yeah.
we cannot kiss other boys, but we can for sure roll on the ground with them 100
And put our
times.
hands under their ass to get a
Put
football.
our hands onto them, get this close when we want to hit them.
Yeah,
But God forbid we give it a little body roll. Like it's so odd. It's
yeah,
one of the reasons why I love Tom Holland so much
yeah.
because Spider-Man is so graceful, right? Like and the fact that he's as good of a dancer as he is, and also has now fallen in love with and married, I think arguably the most eligible bachelorette in the history of histories in Zendaya, and like their relationship is so beautiful
And he's
because
shorter too. It's
yeah,
like he's the shorter guy, right? You don't see that, right?
no, he's
Yeah.
my height.
Okay.
He's my height, and I was like, there's a chance.
There's a
An
yeah,
older version of Zendaya is just gonna
yeah.
drop from the sky. Yes.
Because this as we're doing this podcast, the new Spider-Man movie is coming out. I thought you were like pitching Spider-Man
I
for a
yeah.
second.
I have, it's sometimes online people can be mean, and the comment I get most of more than anything else is people call me Timu Wolverine. And I was like, you think I look like Wolverine? I'll take it.
Gotcha.
Timu Wolverine is still Wolverine.
Yeah,
And I have the Wolfman poster behind me, which is what
I
people
see
comment
that.
about. Yeah.
Yeah, which like, a remake is needed for that film, right? So maybe, perhaps.
Yeah, so I haven't seen the most recent Wolfman, but
Who was that? The Toro? Was it? But like, I know Nicholson did the Wolf, right? He did a Wolf movie.
oh, I love that movie
Yeah,
Wolf with James Spader. James Spader's the best bad guy.
that's
He
going
knows
way
the
back,
limits
right?
from Steph and that and Less Than Zero. People should write books about James Spader villains. I don't know. I love him. I'm a
I
big fan.
saw a movie with him, and it was from the '80s, and it was with Rob Lowe.
Oh yeah, Bad Influence.
Yeah, that's an interesting film.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
So that movie came out right when Rob Lowe was busted by he was,
prostitutes. Yeah,
No, it was there
Oh,
was a girl lied about her age. She was
okay.
16, right? And he was like 30,
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I knew it was something like that. Yeah, yeah,
he got busted for like sleeping with an underage girl. And it almost ruined his career, which is funny because like between Rob Lowe and Robert Downey Jr., their careers were so shrouded in shame for things that like people openly do now.
yeah.
Like
It's true.
it's like no big deal. Like these guys have been run through the ringer. And not to say that like, they haven't had their hard times or their comeuppance or all the things, whatever punitive things that you apply to that. And I'm certainly not advocating for people sleeping with underage
Yeah,
girls at all. Absolutely not. But it was a weird coincidence that he just so happens to be this like weird sexual predator in a movie that came out at the same time. It
yeah.
was
Well, they could. The reason why I brought it up is that they could have switched roles, right?
Oh, easily.
Because
I
he
honestly think
plays
this
that role,
movie
right?
worked either way,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
They should do a remake where they switch roles. That's like, yeah. No, seriously. I like. It's like I'm watching the film. I'm like, he's usually in that role, and he's usually in that role. It's funny that they like decided to do that, right?
Well,
So
Rob Lowe doesn't look any different than he did then, and
it's
James
true.
Spader looks quite a bit different.
Yeah. No, but still, anyways, it's fun. All right, man. Well, I can talk to you forever. You seem
I
to
know.
we seem to be on the same page. But great film, it really is great. I hope it does well for you, and it should, right? And it's like like 6 months, a year from now, it's one of those films that can go on online and get a lot of attention. So I don't know what your plans are, but you got something special in this film, and you got to make a feature. I think you got it in you. So the way
I
you talk
appreciate
about
you.
things.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day. Bye.